The stream doesn't begin till the lates roll in. How's it going, everybody? My name is MrHurriicane, and this is the Madden 18 Fantasy Draft franchise with the Buffalo Bills, a team that I drafted a few days ago and I've been playing some games with. Yes, there is a loss now on our record after just a ridiculous game to close out last episode. What Teddy Bridgewater was able to do against us and the plays they made toward the end were out of control. So we did suffer a loss, and now we'll look for revenge. Well, can't get revenge against them, but we'll take on the Bengals and see what... Actually, we just took on the Bengals. We're going to sim past our bye week, and then we're going to go on to the next one. So, welcome everyone to the live stream today as we have the 4th straight day of Fantasy Draft Franchise. I am not sure if I'll be streaming tomorrow, but as I said a handful of days ago, I wanted to stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now this is the 4th day. So what's up, everybody? Good to see a lot of you here again. Yesterday's stream was a good time. We had some fun moments, and overall I think this series has been a fun little streaming series we've done here. I just want to do a quick bit of scouting here. I might use this as an example for a video at some point, so I want to make sure I have a lot of the players scouted toward the top. But I'm not going to be doing another season in this series. I'm not planning to anyway. And as you can see, most of these early round prospects are living up to the hype, which might be a little bit more successful than it should be. And of course, I put up a big announcement video yesterday as I revealed my Madden 18 franchise team. If you haven't seen that already, it's on the channel. I am about to talk about the team during this stream and answer some questions about it. I'm sure there will be some. Lots of good feedback on the video and a pretty good response so far. I think a lot of people are excited about it. And in case you haven't seen the video, and I'm trying to delay it if you don't want to hear the spoilers, I'm about to talk about the team I chose. Oh wow, an A- impact block on a guard. You know what, I want to spend the rest of this on guards and see if I can get some good pass block. Not sure about that one. Alright, so as most of you know that watched the video, I chose the Chicago Bears for my team in Madden 18. It was not an easy decision, but when I started thinking about them as a possibility, they always seemed like the best option for me in what I wanted to do this year, which was a big rebuild. And pretty much any team you take is going to have some key players that you can build around, but I thought the Bears had the toughest situation. And I wanted a tough situation. For one, they're in a tough division. Those 3 teams made the playoffs at least once in the last 2 years. Vikings were 8-8 last year, and they were 3rd place. With the Bears, I really thought that their roster construction was intriguing because they're not young. They're not a young rebuilding team yet. They're a rebuilding team that has a ton of veterans. They just signed 4 wide receivers to 1-year contracts, or I'm assuming 1-year contracts. Kendall Wright, Victor Cruz, Ruben Randall, Marcus Wheaton. Now Randall is injured, but there are still going to be a lot of veterans on that team. And they signed Prince Amukamara. Like, the rebuild has not gone the way they thought it would. You don't sign big name players like Pernell McPhee and Danny Trevathan and then end up, you know, going down in the win total. Bottoming out at 3-13 last year. So ultimately, I wanted to get back to the NFC this year, and there were other teams I debated. I know a lot of people wanted to see me take the 49ers or the Eagles, and both those teams, I think, have pretty good front 7 pieces to work with. The Bears do too, but the difference is that the Bears aren't as good as those other teams, and they're also older. With the 49ers, you get Solomon Thomas, you get Eric Armstead, and you get DeForest Buckner, all drafted very recently. With the Eagles, you would have higher tier players. You'd have Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, And then Jordan Hicks is another young player in that front seven. Uh-oh. What is Freeman doing to us to begin the day? Oh, my. Devontae, please stop. A lot of people thought I would pick the Buccaneers, too, because I was constantly praising them. And that wasn't, like, to either, obviously, it wasn't to hint anybody toward them or to detract you or, like, you know, it wasn't a big red herring. I really just liked that offense this year and their overall potential. What happened to our defense on this first possession? So with the Bears, there are some veterans to play with, but I think I'm going to turn over a lot of that roster after the first couple seasons. Once we start getting those players older, they're not going to be as effective, and I'll be looking for replacements. So I think I'll be drafting a lot of talent for that series, and that's something that definitely attracted me to the team, was the possibility of having even more players I draft play in prominent roles. Jalen Myrick, oh, he fumbled the football. He might have been down. He might have been down. The Bears really aren't that old. I'd say they are. They're in like the top 5 or 6 teams for players over 30 years old. And when you consider that they're not really in a place to compete right now, in 2 years, that core is going to be even older. And that's where I think that the age is going to play a factor. It's not just the short term, it's also the, not the immediate future, but soon. We're actually going to keep possession after that fumble. What the Bears have going for them right now is a strong interior, a rookie quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky, and Jordan Howard. Amos with his 54 tackling will lead to breaks away from Amos, which will be the new spins out Brightful. Man, I hope not. I mean, how much do I like rangy safeties? I need him to play well. Where else am I going to find a safety that easily that has like 91 speed and 82 zone coverage? I'm going to need him to play well. And we have some injury issues on the team right now. We have missed Eric Decker for a number of games now, so Cooper Kupp has been starting. And Marshawn Lynch has been hurt, which has forced Jamal Williams into the starting role, and we saw what he was able to do. He replaced Marshawn Lynch and then tried to replicate his style of running with that amazing touchdown yesterday. 3rd and 1 here, 2 high safeties. We're going to run the football inside zone. Are you doing a live stream with the Bears? I don't plan on doing any streams with the Bears. For one, I don't like to play with my team until the franchise begins, so I'm not like playing head-to-head games with them, getting used to them. Like, I don't touch my franchise team until it's showtime. So after a miss there by Tyrod, as we have, that's back-to-back terrible inaccurate throws. They might call him for intentional grounding on that. It was so bad. But no, pass it. This is my first pass interference I've seen. It's on the defense. Yes, not all the 30-year-olds are starters, but around half of them are, and then there will be more before too long. I can't believe Kyle Long is already 28 years old. He's one of them. Was it Mingo here? Do they call Mingo on the... I already forgot who they flagged for pass interference. I didn't see any contact, though. That's the first PI I've seen in Madden 18. You gonna develop Meredith into a #1 for sure, or go after another #1? I think that he can be developed into a #1. Got a little bit of lag here, too. Not playing as smoothly. But we connect with Jacob Tammy for the first down. I think Meredith has already positioned himself ratings-wise in the game to be a #1 receiver. I think it's very comparable to Alshon Jeffrey, actually. Jeffrey's going to be better, but Meredith is not that far behind, and he has, I think, quick development too. The only issue is that he's a free agent after year 1. Now, I don't think it'll be tough to keep him around, but he will be expensive if we want to keep him. So, 2nd down and 10. Tyrod down the middle to Taylor Gabriel. I also wanted to get back to the NFC North. I like that division a lot. I think games against the Vikings are going to be tough, and of course games against the Packers are always going to be tough. And the Lions games aren't going to be easy either, but I'm more thinking that Vikings and Packers would be a bigger challenge. And also with the Bears, one dynamic you have to remember this year in Madden 18 is depth. I tried to emphasize that with the Chargers last year, but injuries just didn't play that big of a role, and they didn't end up costing us. Now the Bears, they definitely lack depth. They're a team that lacks starters, and you know, by default, basically, they lack depth in those same areas. I think that if, like, Cameron Meredith gets hurt, deep trouble. Ah, man, couldn't throw it in time. I think that if one of these starting pass rushers get hurt, that we're in trouble there too, because I'm not sure how effective Lamar Houston or Willie Young are going to be. D-line depth, not a big fan. Like most teams, yeah, if they stay fully healthy, they're probably in okay shape, but I don't think that's going to happen this year with the off-ball injuries and the improved frequency. And that's part of why I wanted to play this franchise series. I wanted to get a feel for things like injuries and then have an idea of where they're at when I get to my actual series. For those of you wondering about other series on the channel, I will have Kalispell Dynasty coming tomorrow, and I'll be working on Chargers franchise afterwards. When Madden comes out, that tends to be the only game I play for a week, week and a half. But I'll be getting to my other stuff here shortly. I still want to get back to MLB The Show. I know I don't post the Twins franchise a lot, but the frequency of the videos doesn't really reflect how much I've loved playing that game this year. I prioritize other stuff because I'm not like worried about time with that series. I know that I can move on to the next Madden with them and it's going to be just fine for the next MLB The Show. But especially here in Season 2, like, I can't wait to get into my sessions to record and see what happens, because the team is looking a lot better and we're starting to see, you know, me make the changes. Year 2 in Madden is always when it starts to really become fun. It's done the exact same thing in the show. Was Saints a possibility? They were a possibility. And I think that they're a great team to pick for franchise, and there are players on there I would have loved to play with. Developing Marshawn Lattimore and Alvin Kamara would have been highlights for me. And then an eventual Breeze replacement. I've had a lot of different quarterback situations in my franchise, and I don't really have one that I prefer. I've had stable starters like Cam Newton and Christian Ponder from the Madden 12 franchise. I've also replaced veterans like Phillip Rivers and Carson Palmer, and I have drafted my own quarterbacks to develop like Cole Hartman and Ataki Mason. I don't prefer really any over the other. I like to focus on other positions, and I like to build up skill cores on offense and playmakers on defense, whether that be pass rushers, which I don't think I've had a chance to draft a lot of pass rushers in my series. I think if you look back, I tend to draft, I've just happened to pick teams that have good defensive fronts. This past series, Atachu, Ingram, Bosa, doesn't get much better than that to start out with. In my Jaguars franchise, I had Dante Fowler. He was the main one. And then with the Panthers, I mean, their front seven doesn't need much explanation, but Starr, Short, Luke Kuechly, Charles Johnson, With the Rams, I had Chris Long, Robert Quinn, Michael Brockers, Alec Ogletree. Wow, 2nd and 30 after taking that loss. I think with the Bears, while they do have some good players, I should have a chance to draft a lot there. And I think easily this will be the most important series I've done in terms of improving the depth of a team and making sure that, you know, if a guy gets hurt, we're going to have players that step in and hopefully perform well. That's just an element that's never really been on my channel. We've seen instances where it has happened, but they're a lot rarer than you tend to see in football. You know, how often have I had to replace like 4 starters in one of my series? Yep, I did consider the Eagles. I considered a lot of teams in the NFC. I know I haven't been to the NFC East yet, and the Eagles were super tempting. I honestly just thought the Eagles were a bit too easy with some of their top-tier talent on defense. And then we got a year into Carson Wentz's career, Alshon Jeffries there, Zach Ertz, and some really good offensive line pieces. I wanted the bigger project. Here we go, Jamal Williams. If the Packers cut him in our series, I will be ready. Yeah, Andrew Johnson replacing Andy McKenzie is like the biggest injury storyline ever on my channel. And not every series has had that major injury story. With my my Chargers series, the big one was Reggie Shepard missing almost the entire postseason. Well, the Cardinals were a team that I considered too, but they had the same issue as Philly, where it was like, there's a lot of upper tier talent. Maybe not a lot, but Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu. There's also Chandler Jones. I know I'd get to rebuild the offense a bit, David Johnson. I know I'd get to rebuild the receiving core a little bit because outside of Larry, it's a lot of speedy receivers and not a direct Larry Fitzgerald replacement. And then I would have to get a quarterback, of course. 2nd down and 11. I should stop spamming this play so much. I don't mean to. Let's run it here, Tyrod. Who was the next team behind the Bears? It might have been Philadelphia because I hadn't been to that division yet, even though they had a lot of good talent. I mean, they didn't beat out the Bears in my eyes. Wow, Jamal Williams breaking up another big run. This will go for 60. He's putting in work while Marshawn Lynch rehabs that injury. I'm going to miss Anquan Boldin. You know what? Anquan Boldin, I'm really going to miss him too. I didn't really appreciate his game as much as I should have until he went to Baltimore, and I think we saw him play more. He played on a team that won a Super Bowl, and it wasn't like that's when he became good. I mean, Anquan Boldin had an amazing rookie season. Go back and look at his numbers. They were spectacular. I think Boldin is a borderline Hall of Famer, but wide receiver it's one of the toughest positions to make it to the Hall in. Although I hope and I don't think that Randy Moss is going to wait long. I think he'll be a first ballot. I think Moss will make it right away. What do you think of Madden 18 so far? It's made some improvements, not as many as I would like, and I think some of the changes and improvements they tried to make aren't fully there yet. For one, I don't think the simulation game style is controlling enough quite yet. Man, Khalil Mack is unstoppable. I'm having fun with the game. But the fun for me really picks up when I can start playing franchise with sliders. Uh-oh. Got the pressure again. That's right. It's already 4 sacks in the first half. Do you think T.O. gets in? I think Terrell Owens gets in eventually. What about any arena football fans here? How about T.T. Tolliver? Why can't he get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Look up T.T. Tolliver's numbers. I remember watching an Arena League game a few years ago, and I was so impressed with the alliteration, like touchdown T.T. Tolliver, that I checked his career numbers. Off the charts. So many catches, yards, and touchdowns. Like, what do you have to do to make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as an arena player? Besides be named Kurt Warner. The Arena League, I think, has their own Hall of Fame, but I don't see any reason why it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think a lot of times we confuse it for the NFL Hall of Fame, which it is not. Thoughts on Jim Marshall getting snubbed again? Oh, you know, I want to see my Vikings make it there. Hopefully eventually, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. I don't know why I'm running it here inside of 30 seconds. Does the Pro Football Hall of Fame actually allow Arena League players? I would think so. But I don't know, because I mean, in America, they're to me the second on the list when you think of professional football. Come on, Cup. Nope, knocked away. One area that Madden needs to get tweaked is the pass rush. I feel like we're kind of back to Madden 16 with a lot of things. Yep, 314 touchdowns and over 1,000 receptions. Tolliver actually won a Super Bowl at the Rams. Did he really? I know Tolliver is old. I mean, it takes a while to rack up the numbers he did. Wow. Over the shoulder grab, Cooper Kupp. What about the XFL? Oh, I don't know if there are any XFL Hall of Famers. You ever see the video? I think it's like Western Kentucky's coach was a quarterback in the XFL. And there's an interview of him where he's like concussed and talking about going back into the game. I forget what his name is. I remember seeing that like last year. Cup. Wow, he backed up for me too. We can take a shot at the end zone now. Missed the high school game of the year. Oh man. I saw you were streaming earlier, Blackjack. I was hoping you'd like stream for 4 hours and I could send everybody your way when I'm done. I'll have to check up on the high school game of the year and see if it lives up to the hype. Meanwhile, we're going to throw a jump ball here to Terrell. What was that? So much for that idea. Pass blocking improved? I think the AI is improved, but their effectiveness is too high. I think they're picking up rushers better than maybe I've seen in Madden, and their run blocking is even impressing me. It's just I think their blocking is too powerful. Try again, Kane. Try the Canadian Football League. Some of us northern states that get to watch that. I saw a Canadian football clip today where it was like 2 teams were punting the football back to each other. There's some sort of rule that can get you a 1-point play, I think, for a touchback. It was the weirdest thing I ever seen. It did not look like football. You're thinking Jeff Brom. Yep, it's Jeff Brom. See, Blackjack, if there's anything Blackjack is good at, beyond making prospects, of course, it is obscure college football references, notably at quarterbacks from the mid-2000s. Off the charts knowledge there. Blackjack and I have had many an obscure conversation that is just like layers and layers deep of random Wikipedia football information. On the outside here, Cooper Kupp, dominant. You know what? If you want a sleeper for fantasy, I would definitely keep an eye on Cooper Kupp. I'm going to try to get around to watching some of the preseason games that I've missed. At least watch parts of them, and maybe I'll have some fantasy thoughts, because I do have to get into that mindset now. Fantasy's around the corner. Yep, Cody Pickett, Blackjack knows. He knows things that I don't even know how he knows about some of these quarterbacks. If you were at all on the draft radar in the mid-2000s, especially, Blackjack's got some information. Okay, I've seen a couple comments saying I need a haircut. Is it already that bad? Is it already that long? I feel like it wasn't that long ago that I got it trimmed. Alright, we kicked the field goal on 4th and inches. We're already up a good bit. But from some of the games I've played online so far on Madden, this isn't reminding me of Madden 16. I know a lot of people say like, oh, it's the same as last year, or Madden 17. To me, like, playing online right now reminds me a lot more of Madden 16, where it was basically non-stop vertical concepts. 4 verts here, trips verticals there, and I feel like a lot of the same concepts that worked in Madden 16 are again relevant right now. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm not getting pass rush without blitzing online. And I don't think the zones need some tweaking to their AI, but the pass rush online is non-existent. On the move here, and Gerald Everett doesn't make the catch. Trubisky put it on the money. Yeah, awareness is supposed to matter a lot for centers in this game. And like I said, I don't have a problem with the way they're picking up the rush or anything. It's more so these guys got to get off blocks. Because, I mean, a lot of the online games I've played kind of look like an Oregon spring game. Wide open here. Robinson inside the 30. No one even near it. First down and 10 here for Tampa Bay. They had a great opening possession and are now finding some success again. Mike Evans getting involved and Mitch Trubisky having a good game. Kalispell versus Gophers, who win in the matchup? Oh man, the Gophers would. That would not be a pretty game. Don't underestimate how good those Gophers were. That team was stacked. I mean, we finished the series with like 8 draft picks. I know in Season 9 we had a bunch. Now, Kalispell compared to Year 1 Gophers, now we have a game. Of all the first-round rookies got face scanned into the game. I don't know about all of them, but definitely Dalvin Cook. I was testing out something even, and with a player lock thing of Dalvin Cook, and you can even see like his beard and everything. It all looks great in like the loading screen cutscenes. I haven't gone around to really check on other rookies. Every now and then I'll come across a player that I'm like, wow, he doesn't have a face scan? That's crazy. Pass rush looks like the Pro Bowl. Minimal effort and you can't blitz. You know what? I don't know if I can put it any better than that. This is Pro Bowl pass rush. Taylor Gabriel will handle the return. Is he okay? So Tampa Bay has made it a 2-point game. That's another overthrow from Tyrod Taylor. So one thing that I definitely like is that the accuracy matters. The misses are still by more than I'd like. I was hoping it'd be addressed more after reading that in the blog, that there were going to be like more possible outcomes for accuracy, but I haven't really seen that be the case. Oh man, he didn't cut when I thought he was going to. Jarius Byrd picks it off. We'll have to back up a few yards for a legal block in the back. I don't have a date yet for the first Bears franchise video. It's all going to depend on sliders and when the series is ready. And with it being the first week, it's like a lot of the slider creators haven't gotten a base to start with. A lot of them are still playing on default all Madden or default all Pro. So we're in the very preliminary stages. Yeah, the MrHurriicane Hall of Fame is a great idea, and I want to capitalize on it at some point and figure out how I can make it fun and also keep you guys a part of it. I wouldn't pick all the players myself. What a run by Devontae Freeman. Man. So we trail. But I love the idea of a MrHurriicane Hall of Fame. Okay, 21-16 Tampa. As this third quarter is drawing to a close, Jalen Myrick. So obviously you guys now know that I chose the Chicago Bears as my team. I will make a video though talking about teams I'll recommend for franchise, because that's a question I get asked quite often. And I just want to make a video laying out selling various teams and why they'd be good for franchise. You can make an argument for a number of teams. I didn't really consider any AFC teams this year because it's been 2 years in a row, and with the NFC as good as it is right now, I gotta get in while this conference is loaded just to keep things competitive. If I were to pick an AFC team, like if you forced me to pick an AFC team this year, there's a good possibility it would have been Miami or Buffalo. You know, the Bills would have been possible after all these trades. Really, the whole AFC East beyond New England is up for grabs in terms of a good franchise team to play with. I also think that the Chiefs would be a fun one because you get Patrick Mahomes and you got some difference makers on defense. Marcus Peters, Justin Houston. Oh, got that to Taylor Gabriel. You get a rookie running back to play with in Kareem Hunt. Oh man, I thought he might. Whoa. And Williams does not go down easy. I wonder if he has like a fight for extra yards trait or what it is with his game that makes him so powerful. I've ran with a lot of backs on All-Pro Sim, and Williams is one of the best at generating yards after contact. Uh-oh. No! You know what happened there? You know what happened there? I was worried about the middle of the field, and when I lobbed it out, then it put that pass in danger. Watch this again. I want Gabriel, but I'm worried about this guy right here. I can't throw a bullet pass yet, so I want to lob it. And I do maybe a little too late, because by now I could probably get away with a bullet pass. And yeah. So we find ourselves down 12 here. Yes, on All-Pro Sim. I've given up some big plays and I had a couple bad turnovers. Jalen Myrick again. I feel like every return, like, this one might be the one that goes a distance. Did you ever consider Denver? I didn't really think about AFC teams, but I do think Denver is on the table. You have to figure out that quarterback situation. I think that, wow, Terrell Pryor. We got to go in hurry up mode here. We're running low on time. The Broncos are interesting if you're okay with having a pretty stacked defense to open up. But actually, wasn't it their run defense that was a big concern last year? Way downfield, Josh Reynolds. Wow, the rookie making plays. I want to try this bubble screen here. I haven't seen this play in action yet. Stay in hurry up mode. I'm gonna change songs quick. Haven't had a lot of variety yet. Go into the dirt. Color Rush next game? I'm down with that. I can go Color Rush. Thank you for the super chats. We have one from 27 Super Yankees. Ty Zimmerman better be in your Hall of Fame or we riot with picket fences SpongeBob style. Ty Zimmerman is mostly famous for his inability to secure the interception. That entire ordeal was hilarious, how he couldn't catch the football. And then when he did, like, yeah, he played great. My most memorable moment with Ty Zimmerman was when he picked off that pass against the Falcons in that playoff game. Like a diving interception. I think Julio Jones was the intended receiver, but it was one of the coolest plays I've seen on Madden 25. I'm playing on All-Pro Simulation now with default sliders. And the CPU has had some really bad games. They've also had games where they can rip off a bunch of big plays on me. And this is one of those games. Who is your favorite player you've drafted? Hard to top Nate Bell. I've always loved defensive backs. Growing up, like, my favorite players were not even on the Vikings, because the Vikings didn't have a good secondary at the time, but I always admired players like Sam Madison and Ty Law. Safety and corner have always been my favorite positions. Safety to me is not as interesting in Madden as we drop the pick. Cornerback is. I like running backs on Madden a ton. I think that's clear. Although with the Bears, it's going to be tough to force these running back picks, guys. We're talking about Jordan Howard as the lead running back. There is still Jeremy Langford, a player I'm a fan of. There is Tariq Cohen, who can be a very versatile, useful speed guy, maybe handle return duties as well. There's still Benny Cunningham, who isn't a bad player at all. I might have to, no matter what, I'll always have a running back on the practice squad. So that might have to be how I get my running back picks there. Way down the middle, right! Trubisky. Was this a preview of the Bears franchise? Is he the real deal already? Hybrid safeties are awesome. I love the hybrid safety position that is becoming so popular. Players like Jabril Peppers are right up my alley. That's the style of player I like. Physical, versatile, can make plays in coverage. Sacked. We gotta call timeouts here. Yeah, I did consider Washington with the Kirk Cousins situation. They have a lot of receiving talent on that team. Need that football. And on second down and goal, sacked again. By the way, if you're like me and you don't always want to use your defensive players every play and you wish that they would just control themselves, they can if you hold L1 after the snap. They will handle their assignments like they normally do. Against the CPU, I don't really use her. Flag on the play. Thinking of doing Rams for franchise, think it's a good team to go with? Yeah, it's a perfect team to go with. There's a lot of young talent on that offense that you could do a variety of things with. You get Tavon Austin and Sammy Watkins, but you still have Cooper Kupp, Todd Gurley, Josh Reynolds, Gerald Everett. That's a perfect team if you want a young offense to work with. I didn't even mention Jared Goff. I'm not sure if you're a Jared Goff guy. No, I didn't consider Seattle. They're a little too good for my taste. If they ever let you do offensive line career mode, I'll go to Seattle. And I'll give them an offensive lineman they can finally trust. All right, so 1:35 on the clock as the Bucs blitzing. Down goes Tyrod. We got to get some different music here for this 2-minute drill. Wow, they're still blitzing me. Lobbing out, Pryor, got it. Out of bounds, first down. I can't get over how much they're blitzing. How many coins do you have on Mutt? It's about 45K right now. And a lot of solos that I could easily knock out in a night. And we're going to go back to the middle. Terrell Pryor with a flag on the play. Do you think Paxton will ever become the quarterback Denver thought he could be when he was drafted? I mean, if he becomes that, he's sure taken his time. It hasn't been a good start. And I want to get into watching some of these preseason games and see these players a bit closer. And I really want to watch the Denver games and see what I think. This music fits perfectly. .27 seconds left. Tyrod on the move. He's going to run for the touchdown. Well, the two-point conversion is still an issue. What do you like about Kyle Fuller? Well, I liked a lot. I like that he was a really balanced corner. He could tackle pretty well from what I saw pre-draft. And I thought he was one of the more well-rounded corners in that class. Two-point conversion. And it is complete. Wait, it's not? Kupp had it. Cooper Kupp could not hang on. Right there. And Bird, oh, he does lose it. Well, he didn't have it secured. It's not incomplete until right there. Oh, man. Cooper Kupp. We got to go onside kick. Good thing you have a good center because that's important this year. It is. And the Bears have a great interior. And they recover the onside kick. We're going to lose this game as well. Okay, so All-Pro, it can challenge. I look back and probably shouldn't have ran the or kicked on 4th and inches, huh? Cue sad music. That's right. There's this one. Actually, this song isn't that sad. This one is sad. Do you think Kevin White will ever be as good as the Bears that he would be? I really think that there's a chance. If he stays healthy, I think he can. Watching Kevin White pre-draft, like, he checked so many boxes in terms of, you know, how he wins. He was able to generate yards after catch through elusiveness, through power. He showed good hands. I mean, he was everything. Maybe not absolutely everything, but he was so complete. His game had so many facets. So, I mean, I hope that this is the year. I still want to see him do well. So those picks cost me big time, and we could not tackle Devontae Freeman very well. Those yards after contact, that can't be correct. 3 20-plus yard runs for him. Cooper Kupp had 5 catches, but dropped the all-important 2-point conversion. Yeah, the Dolphins are good for a franchise team, for sure. They have some key veterans on defense and plenty of room to grow. If you pick the Dolphins, though, turn Devontae Parker into a monster. I think he's going to put up big numbers this year. What team should I play for quarterback franchise? If you want to start immediately, you could try to win out in Denver. You could go to the Jets. You could join the 49ers. If you want to succeed a veteran, go to New Orleans or Arizona. You can play with instant starter on or off, so you pass them up when your overall's high enough. Oh, I forgot Color Rush. I'm sorry, I dropped the ball there. Next stream, I got you guys with Color Rush. Houston Texans. Oh, if you want to play with Deshaun Watson blackjack, of course. You know that blackjack is recently the biggest Texans fan. Out of nowhere, he has abandoned his love for Odell Beckham and Eli Manning, and he has I think Blackjack already has the Deshaun Watson tattoo. Wearing a gold jacket. What's my opinion of Trubisky? I like to watch him closer before I really give any comprehensive thoughts, but I've been impressed with his pocket work and accuracy so far. From the little bit I've seen in preseason. And I'll watch some of the Bears preseason stuff and see how they're utilizing certain players and kind of emulate that into my series. I like to see the roles that everybody's used in. Houston is slowly becoming the Clemson Tigers. I have to like them. Oh, man. When is Clemson going to stop putting out, like, first-round wide receiving talent? Is there another name on the list, by the way, now that they've graduated Mike Williams and Artavis Scott, I think, was a 7th-round pick? There's Pryor. Is Decker back? Because Pryor's on the other side now. Yeah, he is. So Cup drops the go-ahead 2-point or the tying 2-point conversion, and now Decker's back. Goodbye. Ugh. Lob that downfield. We got it. Jacob Tammy. Good throw there, Tyrod. I expect a lot better here. I've noticed that I want to see if I get as many inaccurate throws in these perfect conditions because the rain definitely brings them. This might be an off year, but Hunter Renfrow gonna kill it in the slot for someone next year. I guess if they were the best receiving, had the best receiving core every year, it wouldn't be that much. It wouldn't be that interesting. Oh yeah, change song. It's not. It's a new week. I want to see what the Gophers can do this year with PJ Fleck as coach. Granted, we're not going to see really his recruiting efforts as much yet, but hopefully he can have them actually competing with the likes of Wisconsin and Michigan in these Big Ten games that are never as competitive as you hope they are. Cabrera got 7 games on that suspension. By the way, I didn't see the fight yet. Cabrera got 7 games, though? That's pretty significant. We've seen, like, MLB players get the 1-game suspensions, but a 7-game, that's like 4 to 5% of the season. Charles Woodson or Champ Bailey? Man, I always liked Charles Woodson as a player, and I used to have, when he was a Raider, I had a Charles Woodson shirt. Shortly thereafter, he became a Green Bay Packer, and I don't know if I looked at the shirt ever again, but I've always been a Charles Woodson fan. I was so happy when he went back to the Raiders because he wasn't a Packer anymore. Sammy Sosa got 7 games for his cork bat. Huh, man. I remember when the cork bat incident happened. That was a long time ago. Baseball was fun then because there were so many big names. Icons. Oh, it's Blake Bortles. Sure is. It definitely is. Right on cue. Madden, that was perfect. What do I think about the Giants as a franchise team? If you want to compete for a Super Bowl in year one, they're a perfect team. If you want to rebuild, they aren't ideal. If you're rebuilding the Giants at all, you're going to be focusing on linebacker because they just don't. And you'll also want to look at a replacement for Eli down the line. But no, that Giants roster is a lot to like. Myles Garrett or Danielle Hunter? Don't ask questions like that. I'm going Danielle Hunter because he's already proved it in the NFL. Already had an amazing season last year. And wow, that's a nice throw from Tyrod. But I think Hunter is going to be, he's going to be even better this year. Danielle's going to be special. Oh, a lot of traffic there, but we got the first. Are you using D-line or letting CPU play it? I'm letting the CPU play it right now because I'm trying to gauge how good, or actually how bad the pass rush is. I don't want my influence as much, so now I'm just holding L1 on like a safety. Look at Tyrod, he's putting the ball right where I want. When is the next Kalispell Dynasty episode? That'll be tomorrow. Can confirm it will be tomorrow. I will not do another franchise when MLB 18 comes out. I'll be focused still on the Twins. I'm sure I'll have a lot of work to do still by the time that game comes out. And I'm in it for the long haul with the Twins. That's going to be a tough one to complete. Winning the World Series is going to be very difficult. Not that I'll end it if and when we win the World Series for sure, but I think that that series has a lot of potential to go a long time, and that's what I want. I'm having so much fun with that Twins franchise. Taylor Gabriel. Do you think the Vikings would still think about drafting a quarterback if Bradford doesn't play well? If Bradford doesn't play well, they will absolutely draft a quarterback. Unless Teddy comes in and plays well for like 8 games. I'm not sure if Teddy's going to even be off the PUP list this year. Really hard to speculate on that. It's one of those injuries we don't have an example to really point to. Like, maybe this is when he can come back. Like, this is a really freak injury. Better coverage that time. Everson Griffin. Why you gotta do that to me? Any good ideas for MLB teams for franchise? If you were to get into a franchise now, I mean, the Twins, hard to get a better option than the Twins. A combination of fun young players and needs, which is what I look for in every series, really. Outside of the Twins, though, go into the flats here. Oh, Tammy spun the wrong way. I mean, you could go for the White Sox in the same division if you want to build up their farm system. Other than them, trying to think here. I think going anywhere in the American League East would be fun just because you're always going to compete against the Yankees and the Red Sox, so maybe you can take the Blue Jays and, you know, try to turn Marcus Stroman into a top-tier ace and see where you can go from there. Or you could go with the Rays. They have some good pitching in their farm system. I also think that a franchise in the NL West would be fun because there are a lot of good teams there. If you want to working on building up the Padres. That'd be cool, playing against the Diamondbacks, Rockies, and Dodgers all the time. Phillies, yeah, definitely Phillies are up there as an option. I think the Braves would also kind of be a fun team. As Duke Johnson, I like Duke. Le'Veon or David Johnson? I give the edge to Le'Veon, but I mean, if you got one or the other, you're good. Oh man, Duke. Nice run. How do you like the game so far? I mean, I'm having some fun. I do wish that All-Pro Sim was a bit better, and I wish that some of the points of emphasis were a little bit tighter. I wish that a lot of the same routes weren't as easy to beat man coverage. Obviously, want to see zone coverage get better, and there are some issues with deep zones that need to get just patched in. Mike Trout will be a Philly. I'd be shocked to see that happen. So is it just kind of a foregone conclusion that eventually Bryce Harper is going to be a Yankee? When is that? 2 off seasons from now that he's going to be a free agent? Can you do an NBA 2K series in the future? I'd like to give it a shot. I mean, I think seeing me branch out to do baseball, that's gone really well. Maybe eventually basketball, but I'm not sure when. Wow, that's like a 7-yard punt. And they're going to get the football back. I thought I could catch it. I haven't seen one of those punts in a while. That was an issue on Madden 17. Here we go again. That's the kind of thing that is really aggravating in this game. Bortles here, he called a shot play from a 3 tight end set and overthrew him. Trout is from around Philly, and he said he wants to go there when his contract expires in like 5 to 6 years. Oh, well, speculating that far out doesn't seem like a worthwhile endeavor. It does kind of explain the state of your franchise, though, if that's a topic of conversation. In 5 years, we're getting Trout. Just wait, everybody. Patience will pay off. I remember when the Phillies were really good, though. When Ryan Howard was on top of his game. Jimmy Rollins. Cliff Lee. I think that was all the same core. 3rd and 1. A fake from Bortles. And he will connect this time with A.J. Green. Trout never said that. I guess I'm just taking everybody's word for it right now. Uh-oh, don't be offsides, Neil. What is with this 3 tight end offense they're running? What's your opinion on the Broncos team this year? I'm concerned about the offense and the run defense. But with that defense, they're going to stay in games and they're going to make big plays. It's not that they don't have any talent on offense. I just wonder how far they can go with Simeon this year. Going deep, testing us. AJ Green comes down with nothing. How about a CFM with the Bengals? Yeah, great option. Bengals would be great. You'd get to play around with A.J. Green and all the running backs there. Tyler Boyd. I like Boyd a lot. They got some age on defense, though. You got to work on the offensive line. Are you an Andy Dalton fan? If not, replace him. Reggie Nelson here picks it off, the former Bengal. Nelson. Ooh, you can juke out a lot of offensive players here on picks. Do you think the Vikes could have the best defense this year? I don't think they'll have the best. It looks like Terrence Newman might not be as good this year, if the preseason is any indication. And I'm just not as confident that Trey Waynes or Mackenzie Alexander will pick up enough slack to keep them in that elite of a tier. And their run defense has still been dealing with big runs. That is just so mind-boggling when you look at their personnel. They should be a lot better against the run. They underperform there badly. I think they will be a top 5 defense, though. Oh, forced it. Poole with the pick, flag on the play. All right, coming back. What is a good balanced team for franchise in Madden 18? Balanced team? What about Detroit? They have a fair amount of talent on both sides of the football, but neither side is in that, like, top 5 category. Uh-oh, Bortles had an open man. He doesn't find him, though. He got the pressure. Also, the Cardinals are interesting. It's just that where the Cardinals are strong, they're really strong. Duke Johnson here, getting 9 yards on the screen. Yeah, Sharif has that nerve damage, and that has his career in question. To me, it's not even Sharif that's the reason why the run defense has struggled. Wow, wide open. Martellus Bennett. Hopefully, I'd like to see Jaleel Johnson get in there and help shore up the line a bit. Penalty again. Yeah, Colts are a good franchise option too. Yeah, Panthers. I like the Panthers for franchise. Christian McCaffrey, Cam Newton, Kelvin Benjamin might be much better this year. And then you have, on defense, of course, Luke Kuechly. Plus, you can still do some building. They could afford to get younger at safety and some edge rushers still. They brought back Julius Peppers. First half winding down here. Martellus Bennett down to the 11. I can pretty much justify any team for franchise besides like the obvious like Super Bowl contenders. Bortles here trying to cash in. 1st and 10. Blake swings it out. Duke runs it out. Yes, lack of pass rush is very frustrating. And if I make a video talking about it, you're going to see me play with the Vikings against the worst offensive line rating-wise I can find. Be like, look at Danielle Hunter, the phenom, getting nothing. What Vikings draft pick are you most excited about? It's a fun class, but it has to be Dalvin Cook because I hope he brings a good element of explosiveness and the ability to be explosive whether it's on the ground or in the air. I think his versatility is going to be big. I want to see those home runs, though. I want to see him rip off the big plays and make teams respect that aspect of the pass game. because the Vikings, you know, they probably won't be a team that takes a ton of shots. They're still going to work their way down the field slowly with the dink and dunk approach. And having a good pass-catching running back is, I think, vital for them. Beyond Cook, I'd say Jaleel Johnson. Hopefully getting another quality player in the middle of that defensive line. I'd also like to see Bucky Hodges make some plays, but I'm not sure that we're going to see that a lot this year. We're going to see a lot more David Morgan, the UTSA Roadrunner. Let's try hitting a deep ball here. Going up for Decker. Whoa, he comes down with it. Welcome back, Eric Decker. Kick is up. It is good. We tack on 3 more. Yes, I do feel the pass coverage in this game is poor. Defenses allow far too many big plays, and part of that does have to do with the lack of pass rush. When you're playing zone defense and you can't get pass rush, someone's getting open. 13-3 now, second half action. I'm very interested to see what kind of workarounds the slider creators come up with. I hope that they can get a great game on all Madden this year, and I'm confident they will. I've had fun sets on all the Maddens. Ooh. Well, Madden 13 was the hardest by far to get sliders for, because it was like impossible to make the CPU running game any good. Here's Blake Bortles with a dump off to Jeremy Curley. Do I think Andrew Luck will be ready week 1? I'm not sure what the status is. No, I haven't even plugged in sliders yet. When I try to make my own sliders, things don't go that well. I like to see what the guys over at Operation Sports come up with, and then I'll look at their tweaks and go from there, play some games. I'm sure they'll be toning down the pass blocking, though, on both sides. I do think it'll be an all-Madden year again. I don't want to mess around too much on all-pro sliders. I just don't think it's going to be good enough. The game crashes in preseason if a team has more than 75 players. Yeah, I've had a lot of preseason crashes when I try to get the Matt Pierre series off the ground. I have not had a single crash in the regular season, so I should be ready to start recording that series now this weekend. And hopefully that gets fixed, because that was a really annoying issue in preseason, and I couldn't figure out why it was happening. Where I was having crashes, it wasn't loading into the game, it was during the game, and especially on kickoffs, when the ball carrier was tackled, the play came to an end, like right as the whistle blew. Crash. Not every time, but you know, it was happening in preseasons week 2 and 3 to me. They're attempting this right now. Who's their kicker? That's a 64-yard field goal try, and it was short and off the mark. First down, nowhere to go here. Another blitz. Oh, nice. I'm glad that was hit there because that was going to be a pick probably. The running back blitz pickups are one of my favorite improvements in the game. Third down and 11. Off the mark here from Tyrod. 9 of 13. I just don't see why the inaccurate passes have to miss by so much. He threw it in Buffalo and ended up in Toronto. O'Donnell kicks this away. Out of bounds, it's out of 5. That's my Bears franchise punter right there with 80+ speed. Can't wait. Who knows when that's going to come in handy? Ooh, nice little move there from Duke. Another run here, and Johnson right through the middle. How do I feel about the Jags as a team to use? I'm trying to find a team that won't be easy to rebuild, won't be as difficult as the Jets. I don't think that the difficulty is that steep for the Jaguars. I think once you get a quarterback, you're like in position to compete. Because, I mean, on offense, you're going to have Robinson and Fournette, Allen Hurns. On the defensive side, you're going to have Malik Jackson, Miles Jack, Jalen Ramsey, AJ Boye. And I don't think the AFC South is very tough. Not as tough as other divisions. But there would be, you know, some holes to fix on that team, so it's not like terrible. And I could pretty much make an argument for any team. There's just teams I like more than others. Where are the hurdles and laterals? You know what? There haven't been enough of those. There has been almost none. I don't have any college football playoff predictions. I'd just be Alabama, Ohio State, and 2 others. Wouldn't really know what direction to go there. I don't follow college football very closely, but I do plan to watch a lot more games this year and spend a lot more Saturdays watching some college ball. Looking forward to the Gophers this year. What we do here is go back. We're going to the final quarter of the day. Okay, 13-3, another lead for us. Patriots are looking at a trade market for Coney Ely. Really? Even after Derek Rivers got hurt? And after they traded for Coney Ely? This is the last game of the stream. I've been doing 2 games in each stream, except for the first episode, which was the opening draft and the first game. The streams have been a good time, though. I like having these kind of chill series. Bortles. Oh, the screen was covered, Blake. Was that not a backwards pass? Who do I think will be this year's fantasy bust? Good question. Fantasy bust. I'll have to come back to that one. I mean, there are some players I'm not as high on as others, like Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson. I'm not going to be targeting them, especially because where I'd be comfortable drafting them, I don't expect them to be available. I think Lynch goes very early in fantasy drafts and higher than I'd want to take him. Jalen Myrick. Man, every return it's like I got a chance. Alright, a 13-6 game now. A lot less scoring in this one. Trying to snap this little losing streak we have here. Oh, I was trying to go to the outside. I would have had it too, but Malik McDowell sacks Tyrod. Yeah, Todd Gurley was last year's bust, and that was unfortunate. Never really had that big game even. Not even a 100-yard game, if I remember correctly. Oh, I've never seen that animation result in a drop. I'm used to that being a catch animation. Yes, I think Todd Gurley will get to 1,000 yards this year. I think that 2016 was an outlier, and that it won't be replicated again. If he plays, you know, at least like 14 games. Yeah, I've never seen that end up dropped. Huh. Whatever happened to Charles Johnson, the Vikings receiver? He dealt with injuries in 2015, and last year he just wasn't as good, and he wasn't ever able to beat physical coverage. And beyond that breakout stretch in 2014, it never really went up from there. I was high on Charles Johnson, and he was a fantasy bust. It's intercepted. DRC pick 6 of Blake Bortles. There you go. DRC might have just made the thumbnail. Jarvis Landry, do I think he'll leave the Dolphins when his contract expires? I could definitely see Landry, I could see him being one of those players that gets paid a lot of money to go be like a #1 producer on a team. Landry does a lot of work underneath, and he's really effective. He's a very effective, efficient receiver. But how much do you value what he brings to the table? And I think that that's one of those situations where an opposing team values him more than the current team. So I could definitely see that, especially if Devontae Parker breaks out. And they're like, okay, let's prioritize here. And I think that with Jay Cutler, Landry's fantasy stock has to go down a little bit, because I think he's going to be focused a lot more on Parker. Oh, that's nearly picked off. Khalil Mack. There he is again. 2.5 sacks. Are you confident in Mike Thomas and Devontae Parker in fantasy? Oh, yeah. I think Michael Thomas is among, like, the safest players at receiver. Traded away Brandon Cooks. Perhaps even more looks go his way. He has the type of strengths that I don't really worry about slumping that much. Whoa! Bortles threw that? Whoa. And then regarding Parker, I think that his production, his opportunity is going to be safe as long as he stays on the field. I think Parker will finish as a very, probably a low-end wide receiver 1, mid to low wide receiver 1, I'd say. Potentially. I like his upside a lot. How do I feel about Stacy Coley? I like Stacy Coley, but he's on the wrong team to try to get some snaps on right now with the Vikings having, 3-4 receivers that'll play in front of him. Fumble, recover, Derek Johnson. Couldn't hurdle Blake Bortles. He knew I had to try it, though. Jamal Williams. I thought I'd have to, like, cut inside there to get the touchdown. I probably didn't have to do that. Alshon Jeffrey poised for a big fantasy year. I mean, I think that he'll have a solid year if he stays on the field, too. Carson Wentz does have to cut down on the turnovers a bit. How about that pass he threw to Torrey Smith, though? That was pretty nice. I want to see what Wentz can do with some real receiving talent, though. 1st and 6, that was. Uh-oh, Jamal Williams. Another good run to the 38-yard line. Raiders running out of time. Do you think Justin Tucker will score more points than a lot of receivers in fantasy? Yeah, I do. All it takes is a couple, a 50, a 30, and 2 extra points. That's 10 right there. Alright. Trying to go downfield. We got it to Terrell Pryor, beating the cover 2 defense. Wanted to get some more points. Not much time left, though. Raiders down 21. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button for more Madden 18 content. I'm not sure when the next stream is going to be now. This is 4 days in a row of streaming, and I do want to make sure I'm getting my other series back on the channel, so it might be a few days. But we'll see how things go. I've had fun streaming this series so far. Getting Madden season underway here. I was really looking forward to the game. Will Carolina trade back for Coney Ely? I doubt it, but that'd be hilarious. That's the kind of chaos I like. Ooh, Bortles, that's no good. Thoughts on Jaguars? They should trade for Tyrod Taylor. I like a lot of that roster. But their quarterback situation is going to hold them back at a time where a lot of the AFC South is so vulnerable. The Andrew Luck injury situation, Ryan Kelly's hurt there now. The Titans could be tough, but they haven't shown playoff potential yet. And the Texans are a good team, but they have a rookie quarterback now. So, like, this is the year for the Jaguars to compete, but they don't have the quarterback. Another short punt. If Chad Henne starts, though, I don't even know what to think. Put in Brandon Allen at least. Let's have fun if we're not going to be playing Bortles or making a trade. One more play. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it might be a good one. We'll end it there. Don't want any injuries. Thank you all for stopping by and spending some more time with me on Madden 18. The stream was a good time once again. I've enjoyed these streams, and they'll continue to happen as we continue this little fantasy draft franchise. We had some interesting games today. Actually lost my second game in a row and bounced back in this one. So, thank you all for stopping by. Please leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking for some Ultimate Team content, I have that on my second channel, MrHurriicane LP. I have a few really fun videos on the channel there already, and I'll have more stuff coming this weekend. So stay tuned for more Madden 18. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next time.